is, if producers see the benefit, producers are very focused on cost savings and focused on getting things done quickly. Once they start adopting AI technologies, it becomes more and more mainstream. So it's going to be, in a few years, it's going to be hard to think about how did we even do scheduling and how did we do script breakdowns and all these things without AI. It's going to be such a strong part of the vocabulary. Why would you spend 3-4 weeks doing something that, you didn't go to film school or choose to go into film production just to do those boring things? So people would want to give that up to AI and have that take over all the grunt work so people can focus more on the creative elements, on the creative aspects. Another thing that would happen in a few years is once you have the ability to respond really quickly to things that can go wrong. So in a film production, things go wrong all the time. Someone gets sick and you can't get the location or various other factors. It's very hard to respond then. Then people are staying up all night, redoing the budgets, redoing everything. Maybe the director didn't get the shot he liked, and everything gets thrown off. So now with this AI tools, you can adapt a lot more quicker. Okay, the whole thing got thrown off, no problem. Let's run this all over again in a few minutes. We've got a whole new schedule. So it will allow us to be more flexible as creatives and say, okay, no big deal if something gets thrown off. It allows us to be more agile, more responsive to what's really going on. It's one thing to have an idea of what that scene might look like. Another thing when you're actually filming it. So it will allow us to be more responsive and creative and, as a result, have better quality productions. Even in the States, even in the top schools, film schools, you still have the professor saying, you have to get your markers out, red, green, or whatever, to do script breakdowns. That's not necessary. I mean, the interesting thing is special effects and all that. The technology there has advanced a lot. But when it comes to actual producing, that's still stuck in this, last century. You go into editing rooms and you see notes all over the place and strings and all that. We have computers that make life easier. Those are not the parts that you want to spend your time focusing on. So those things, we should adopt technology to help that part easy. And then focus more on really the core part, which is storytelling. And where AI comes into storytelling is it's giving more things to think about. So even when we produce this, it actually forced the director to think about things that they weren't thinking about before. So an example that I have from AI in music, musicians say when they have AI, it introduces a certain amount of randomness, but that really forces the musician to think, okay, how do I incorporate this? So it takes us in certain directions that we may not be thinking about, or maybe it gives you an example that's very common. Everyone's done that before. So you're now forced to say, okay, I won't go with the common suggestion. It's now on me. The challenge is on me to create something very different from what the machine suggests. So all of these are forcing us to explore places that we haven't explored before, because otherwise, if we go along the direction we're going, filmmaking budgets are exploding through the roof. And, if you look at Hollywood, we're getting the same type of films happening over and over again. So our goal is to go beyond that. And I think AI will help with that.